So it's clear that we are watching the fall of the American empire in real time. And there is a stark difference in the way that the white community is responding and how the black community is responding. The black community en masse has completely withdrawn. They fought, they campaigned, they warned us, and we chose the orange man anyway. And they're out. The white community, on the other hand, is fighting, those of us who aren't under Trump's spell. And there is this real sentiment that if we can just get Trump out of the way, then we can all get back to normal. But the thing is, that's not what God is doing. And I'm not a nihilist, but we're missing the point. The point is this white supremacist system has wreaked enough havoc. Enough. And God is judging it. And the fact that we are clinging so hard to it makes me wonder, what does the black community see that we don't, that's allowing them to totally let go right now?
White people are trying to figure out how and why black people have collectively withdrawn from this country, essentially. And it's clear to me that a lot of y'all have never been in a toxic relationship. And unfortunately, I have. But let me tell you how this goes. In a toxic relationship, you usually have one person who isn't shit, right? It's usually the man. And the man is, emotionally abusive. He is a cheater. He's a liar. He's a manipulator. He gaslights. He's narcissistic. But he also has a lot of potential, right? He also can be very loving. He also promises things to come in the future, right? He also can be very exciting at times. And those things keep the woman around. But when things are bad, shit goes up, right? Windows get broken, cars get scratched up, TVs get shattered, broken glass everywhere. Just a lot of chaos in these situations at times, right? And this goes on. These ebbs and flows, these ups and downs go on for years sometimes. But at some point, the abused party in his relationship just completely wakes up and decides that he or she is over it, right? And when that happens, there is no blow up. There is no broken windows. There is no shattered windshields. There is no scratched up cars. There's just calm, right? There's folded clothes. There's neatly packed possessions. That person decides to go on about their business. And that's where black people are with this country at this point, right? Like, we're just sick of y'all shit. And we're not going to protest. We're not rioting. We're not doing none of that shit. You know what I mean? Most of us are just simply withdrawing, going on about our business and surviving like we know how to, like we have always done since before this country was founded.
It's a great question. I really do appreciate that he went ahead and he has the gumption to ask this question. But you gotta ask the question of how we got into a car accident to whom is driving the vehicle. Because America is a car and white people are driving. Okay, white people are driving and we see the road signs, we see the stoplights, and we say, hey, slow down. You gotta hit the brakes. This isn't safe. White people just do whatever they want to do. They're driving America, so when America gets into a car accident, you don't turn around and say, hey, what the fuck? You didn't let me know that there was a stoplight right here? Why are you blaming the people in the back? Who's driving? Ask the question to whoever the driver is, how we got here.
We as black people have known all along about this administration in power, how our rights were being infringed on, how the country would spiral, how women's bodies would be controlled, how education would be gutted, and how the rich would get richer and the poor would get poorer. Because the only difference between this...
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him, we're implicated in this for sure. But the question does present itself immediately, like, what is this? Was this always the plan? You don't want to be a conspiracy nut, but like, clearly there were signs of low character. We knew that.
There
are aspects of his personality which are obviously not good. and that we've mostly just chosen to overlook. You know, he's not a moral man. He's obviously not the greatest husband in the world. You know, cost of American lives isn't the motivator. It's just that Trump has moved on to other things because he has the attention span of a gnat.
And what American is this helping? Besides the industrial war complex, I just don't know. I don't understand. So yeah, that's what our president's up to, and it's fucking baffling.
Isn't you had a change in morality or a different point of view? You're just now impacted. And what a spineless way to live. You say to yourself, I'm okay if marginalized groups are impacted as long as my positioning as a white person is unchanged in this country. We knew. So when you ask,
what does the black community see that we don't, that's allowing them to totally let go?
we saw you. We saw our parents and grandparents fight for their rights as humans. We saw how at every turn, the only thing people in America, white American men, and those white American women who feed into racism and the patriarchy want is capitalistic system where black people don't benefit, women stay in their place, the masses remain uneducated, and America stays white. So yes, we knew. MAGA voters are speaking out against Trump. Farmers are watching crops rot because of tariffs, federal workers losing jobs they thought were safe, veterans seeing benefits get cut. But none of this is shocking because the policy didn't change, their proximity to it did. This pattern is as old as oppression itself. If we go back to the Reconstruction era after the Civil War, poor white and black farmers were in the same economic boats, exploited by the same landowners, crushed by the same debt systems. They actually started organizing together. The populist movement was building real cross-racial working class power, but the planter class got panicked. They did not want poor people joining up against wealthy people. So they did what ruling classes always do. They offered poor white farmers something black farmers couldn't have: social status. The feeling of being above somebody. Jim Crow wasn't just about hate. It was a political strategy to break solidarity before it became a threat, and it worked. Poor white Southerners voted against their own economic interests for generations, even until today, because they were giving the psychological wage of whiteness instead of actual wages. Fast forward to the New Deal, FDR's programs of Social Security, labor protections, the right to organize were genuinely transformative. But to get Southern Democrats on board, they excluded the jobs black people were most likely to hold. Domestic workers, agricultural laborers, left out by design. White workers built generational wealth on those programs. Black workers were locked out altogether. So when someone says, the government used to work for regular people, it did. Just not all of them, and just not all of us. And these are the same sentiments of MAGA today. Ida B. Wells warned us. She said, a country willing to use terror against black people had already proven it would use terror as a tool, period. The weapon doesn't retire once it's done with one group. MLK said in a Birmingham jail, he wasn't just frustrated with the segregationists, he was frustrated with the white moderates who thought they could stay comfortable while injustice ran its course. Injustice doesn't run its course. Frederick Douglass understood that freedom, if it wasn't protected for everyone, was just a loan. One thing we know about loans is that loans get called in. But in this country, if we had built and defended the political infrastructure to protect minority rights when black communities were screaming that these systems were dangerous, everyone would have protections right now and rights today. Now we're watching tariffs gut the same farming communities that cheered trade wars aimed at protecting them. Federal jobs disappearing from the same towns that voted to shrink government because the cuts were supposed to hit someone else. The tools they're using on immigrants, on black voters, and now the white working class Americans, those same tools are now pointed somewhere new. You cannot outsource your freedom to someone else's oppression and expect to stay free. The only way any of us stay protected is if the system is built to protect all of us. America is in a very precarious place. And if we just believe black people, if we just granted black people equal protections and rights and freedoms under the law without the need for us to be in this centuries-long fight, then maybe, just maybe, we all would have adequate protections and not fall into a despot running our country dry while enriching his helm of billionaires. You ask black people, what did we see that you didn't see? We saw our story and our history. Stay black, stay blessed.
Don't.
I can't speak for the entire black community, but I can speak with surety for those whom I am connected with, both friends and family alike. And it's real simple. The United States has bad credit when it comes to us. If you went out to get a car and they denied you because your history of payment is sketchy, it's because you have bad credit. If you went to get a house and you could not get the loan because your history of payment is sketchy, it's because you have bad credit. Black people are tired because the United States has bad credit with us. For the years that we have been paying into this country, its return on our investment is
Welcome back to the channel. So I go by the name Mrs. Len, and today's episode is a really interesting one because we have seen how the black folks are actually complaining that majority of the white community are no more interested about the political affair in their country, and think that the white folks are actually being delusional because for a couple of months now, or should I say years, and the black folks were actually trying to explain, or they will actually foresee situations like this, but they were trying to break it down to the white folks, giving them reasons why they think they need a new ruler and many more, but they were actually being ignored. So after a long duration of time, and they are trying to witness a lot of economical difficulties, now they are trying to drag the black folks into their mess, trying to state reasons that maybe the black folks are just not interested about activities of the country. Meanwhile, when the black folks were actually, the black communities, when they are actually stating their reasons why they actually need a new ruler, back then they were being ignored. So in today's clips, in today's video, we're going to look at a lot of clips that the black folks are trying to give their reasons why they have withdrawn themselves from the economical activities or affairs of the country. And like I said, the credits are given to the original creator of this video. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe now, turn on your notification. Let's watch the remaining clips. I'll be right back shortly.
shoddy. So we're tight.
You said it yourself, champ. All of this, everything that's going on right now, my father prepared me for this when I was a child. White supremacy is cruel, and it runs deep in the heart of America, down to its foundation. And the Trump family has long had the power, money, and influence without paying any of the price to sustain their hold on America. What is it, like 5 generations of Trump have never served, and every generation in my family has served? There's a big difference. And we've known this, not just recently, for hundreds of years. And when we finally got a voice, we tried to warn y'all. We tried to warn y'all a long time ago. And the last time somebody really got y'all attention, y'all shot him. And the time before that, y'all shot him. And the time before that, y'all shot him. So if that's what y'all really want, that's what y'all got. Far be it from us to deprive ourselves of a spectacle, know what I mean? Drink water. Do better.
In real time.
What is and what should be is really hard for white people to distinguish between, because what is so beneficial to them. Because what do you mean? What do black people see that white people don't see? Why are you inferring that black people have not been sharing this information, shouting it from the fucking rooftops forever? Black people have been telling white people, like, use your privilege to protect those without your white privilege, because the system will come for you eventually if you do not. And then we're fucking surprised when it happens. We're like, what do you guys see that we don't? Common sense is just so fucking dead these days. Like, it's painful. White folks are still romanticizing the United States. They either believe that it was great and it can be again, or that it can be in the future. Black people see very, clearly that any system that was built on the exploitation of a historically marginalized community can never be great. Because the truth is, on November 6th, Black people woke up and not much changed for them. Okay. Black people woke up and they were like, all right, I guess we're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And white people woke up on November 6th, 2024 in a fucking panic. Like, oh my God, what's happening? I've never had to experience this before. I've never felt this kind of fear. I've never, like, what do we do? What do we do? And the world has to stop for that. And even though Black communities are stepping back and prioritizing their own well-being in terms of resistance right now, they are still offering guidance to white people for how to effectively fight the monster they created. They are giving you a whole bunch of recommendations on how to do that effectively, and white people keep ignoring it. They keep trying to do things their way, as if their way has worked at any point in the last 250 years. White supremacy is a cult, and white people are not going to leave it until the cost of maintaining membership with the cult is more than the cost to leave the cult. And unfortunately, that requires a lot more hurt. White people are going to have to experience a little bit of the pain that the system has been inflicting on communities of color, specifically other marginalized communities in the world as well. They're going to have to feel that. They're going to have to feel that. And the consequence has to be there for them to just finally wake up and see what Black people have been telling us all along.
I'll tell you what I can. Black people are resting. They thought we had more fight in us. Literally every other country that's been through even remotely similar, like at the beginning of everything, has risen up. So, what I presume, fellow pastor, currently I am a minister. I have been a pastor. The thing is, listen to Black women. Listen to Black women. I'm going to say it one more time. Listen to Black women. It's not just that people of our skin tone voted for Trump and all those guys, Republicans again. They don't see us as having fight. I don't either. Now, I'm going to be straight up with you. I am nervous at any sort of conflict. I'll admit, a little bit scared. But if you're feeling really scared, start getting people to speak about rising up. Start getting people in your community to organize and actually organize and be actionable. Start speaking more about it. Nobody that's resting is going to get off their tail unless they see some action, because they are the first ones targeted. There needs to be a whole bunch of people, white people, saying that we are going to be in the front lines. Back us up. Scary, isn't it? I bet you'll chicken out. They do. Right now, people are too comfortable. They're too afraid. We're not even remotely angry enough about school shootings. What makes you think we're angry enough about the pedo-in-chief? Like, if you could, but it would cost you your life, would you? Would you? That's the question they already have the answer to. They haven't seen any action. They've seen people in costumes. After they've endured so much, they've heard from their ancestors, their parents, their grandparents, about the things that happen. They've read about things that are suppressed and not taught to us. So that's why they're resting. They think all of you are cowards. Real talk. It's hard to swallow, isn't it? But what kind of ally can you really call yourself if you're not going to be on the front lines with them, if not in front of them? Would you trust somebody that you know won't show up? Like, they'll talk a big talk, but they won't show up in the moment. You going to trust them? Would you trust them to protect your children? So yeah, you want to speak up about it? Start speaking up about it and getting other people to do the same. Until then, just kind of stay silent about, Black folk. I love all of you. And as always, stay amazing.
Okay, go back and watch that video for full context of what I'm about to say, but please understand, I'm doing this as a twofer, so I'm going to be a little serious at first, and I'm going to end with something a little lighthearted. Still a fucking war crime.
Delicious war crime.
It's, oh God. Anyway, we'll get to that. This gentleman asked what it is that we know for why we are responding that way we do. It's not that we know, it's that we have experienced. We already know what's coming down the pike. We have seen what happens when white supremacy meets capitalism meets stupid. This is not our first rodeo. We campaigned. We did everything we could. And when the time came that y'all said no, we went, okay. You know how you first learned to ride a bike? and your parents are there holding you and, you know, I've got you, it's okay. And then they see that you've got it and then they let you go. This is kind of that, but this is more y'all driving nuclear weapons into the ground. Like we just got to go, okay, because there's nothing we can do. You have made your stance. You have made your point. You have said outright, you are tired of having to feel as though being white is a crime. Although I don't know who the fuck said that except other white people. Because we didn't fucking say it. So, to end this, we understand that shit's going to get bad. We understand that prices are going to go up. And we also understand that there is absolutely nothing we can do about it. We also know that protesting would probably get us shot in the streets. So that's the other reason why we stay home. But I figured y'all should have known that so I wouldn't have to cover it. Now, on to the war crime. So, I love my boyfriend. I do, with my whole heart. But he has tried to introduce some interesting popcorn flavors to me. On our trip to North Carolina, it was Chicago popcorn, which was cheddar and caramel. So Friday, he comes over and he says, I have something that I think that you would like. Y'all can't read this because it's upside down, but this is Old Bay and caramel popcorn. Say it again. Old Bay and caramel popcorn. My boyfriend brought this war crime into my house. So, I'm going to try it. God. Look at the smell. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I love you.
Yes, you do. Bigger. No, that's not. You don't get the full effect.
I have to.
There's like big chunks in there that 3-4 things that stuck together. You barely. Taste it.
Is that
sure? That's
okay. Okay. You are looking at me like, just put it in your mouth.
just breathe it in.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna. Like the farmer's market and the wharf had a baby. It was not a very pretty baby. You can hear from that laugh, this is a war crime. You know this is a fucking war crime that he did. Oh my God.
Give him back.
Hang on. There's a vodka in it from last night. Oh my God. Oh. I love you, but goddamn no. No.
I'm gonna eat a bunch of it and kiss you.
I can live with that. I can live with that. But as long as I don't act. Yeah. See, in relationship war crimes, there needs to be a Geneva Convention for this.
What do we see? Well, simple enough. We see you. Not you, particularly you, but we see your community. We see what you really are, what you really have been throughout the existence of this country. And this is not a blanket statement. Obviously, this is not a blanket statement because I would not count you among the group that I'm referencing here in this response to your video. But we see your community and we want no parts of it, because the reason why we're here is because your community has tried to socialize my community for hundreds of years. And when you look at some of the pathologies and things that are affecting my community, it is directly associated with the values imposed on us by your community.
So we see it. And now that we have the opportunity and the ability to reject it, we're rejecting it. We want no parts of it. None. So when I hear white people say that the problems of the black community is because they're not emulating the values of the white community, yeah, miss us with that. Because we see you. We see that every single time a community other than yours takes a marginal step forward, y'all crash out and take us to the brink of annihilation. Every time. Every time, like clockwork. And so we don't want any parts of that. We don't want any parts of it. If you want to make America great again and take your country back, take it back. Take it back. Have it. We're going to be over here building our future. Over here being excellent. Over here creating doctors and business owners. We're going to do all of that independent of you. And now, because we live in a society that has a real-time record where we can put the actions of your community in real time across the world, you can't just show up and burn us down anymore. You can't just ride in the middle of the night covered in sheets and destroy our cities and our towns and the things that we build. So yeah, we're not focused on white people at all. So the idea that white people will face retribution theory the moment they become the minority in this country is just projection, because we would never, ever do to you what you've done to us, because we have no desire to ever be you. So if you really want to know what we see you. We see what you are. We see what you have been. And we don't want any parts of it. I hope this helps.
That's allowing us to let go. It's violence. It's violence, brother. I explain this in a lot of ways. But I'm just going to like rapid fire. Epigenetically speaking, everybody and everything white. Mind you, in order to be considered white, all you have to do is just collaborate against blackness, right? Like immigrants were coming here and getting promised job opportunities, and the reality of being left alone by whiteness and assimilation into whiteness, right? But all you had to do was just keep black people from working at your establishments. Or in some of the Mexican cases, stop them from voting, or stop us from voting, excuse me. Like show up to the polls, be like, get out of here. Like what? But yeah, epigenetically speaking, if your entire culture, rewards you with like dopamine spikes and like serotonin spikes and like camaraderie and culture and like all these different things, and the only price you have to pay is treating us like the other, then that's how you get the situation that we're in now, where so many of y'all don't see what's going on because it's baked into your gene expression. It's baked into your knee-jerk reactions whenever you see certain things. And that's propaganda too. Propaganda, which comes from Birth of a Nation, which literally was just white folk getting together, creating a moving picture that was just them killing us and them justifying them killing us. And then they showed it to the president, and the president was like, damn, that's the greatest movie I've ever seen in my fucking life. Then you got the lens of whiteness that, you know, we just see it as a capitalist, imperialist, white supremacist patriarchy, right? And then when that is the filter of, like, that's just the filter of everybody's experience who is indigenous. And everybody's experience, because I'm not finna act like that it's not other cultures who are like maybe indigenous to like another land outside of America, and they come over here and then they try to like whitewash themselves in order to get the benefits of being in the society, right? Like I'm on y'all head. And then that note, you know, you have the entire world conspiring against who you are just so that they can get the benefits of a fucking ritualistic, satanic, pedophilic, sacrificial cult that which uses propaganda, lies to justify not even killing you all the way. And that might be the most insidious part about it, right? Is one of the most, there's a lot of insidious parts about this whole shit, but one of the most insidious parts about it is that they need to keep us alive enough to use us as an energy source. They used to eat us. Y'all used to eat us. Somebody 6 degrees of separation is more like 3. If it wasn't physical, it was spiritual. If it wasn't spiritual, it was mental. If it wasn't mental, it was emotional. At some point, you consumed blackness in order to exist. That's the price you pay. That's like that's the passive effect of existing in America as a non-black. You're just consuming blackness at some level. And then it's like we fight our way out of slavery, and then y'all hide the history behind that. We start making our own cities and our own everything where, like, for example, in Wilmington, even if you were white, you were still getting bread with us. You were still getting money with us. But folks in Raleigh was hating on us so much. Bro, they came through with a Gatling gun and got rid of that shit. And then there's the whole dynamic between, like, having your melanin so studied to the point where they know its reaction to crack 30 years before they implement it into all of your communities. And the reason why they implemented it into your communities was because you wanted to stop getting killed by the police, and you wanted to stop paying for shit that should be a natural human right. Food, shelter, water, education, healthcare. It was all you wanted, and we got crack in return. And all of this is just within the past 150 years. Like, everything that I'm talking about is just what happened within the past, like, 150 years. Come on.
I'm going to cry again. Y'all are going to make fun of me again, but go ahead, because there are some things that are worthy of tears. And I have been learning over the past few months that the Black community is more loving, more forgiving, more accepting than we have any right to expect them to be. And it's overwhelmed me in a good way. So a couple of months ago, I posted a video because I had been thinking about, why is it that throughout centuries on continents all over the place that Black people have been targeted for such horrific treatment and such oppression? Why this group? And the more I thought about it, I'm like, there's something special. They have to, there's something special. Do you have some magic or some power? And I posted that as a question. In the comments, I learned the answer in the comments, but not in the way you think. Now, there were people who gave me good information about, historical concepts and things like that. And I'm still learning about that. But what I mean is, in the way they responded to my comments, I can see that there is something special. And that is just by genuinely asking a question, because I want to stop it. I want the world to be different. I don't want this to happen again, and people keep being treated like that. The vast majority of the Black people who commented on my video were so like, we love you, sis. Here's what you need to know. Or, just for asking the question, we love you and we accept you. And I'm like, I got mad at somebody at the HEB for cutting in front of the line to me. And and you can forgive, a whole race of people when we come to you and say we're sorry and we want to learn. I don't. That level of love and acceptance and forgiveness is really jaw-dropping to me, and that shows me a bit of what I was asking. Yes, there are other gifts and talents and historically things that set the Black race apart. But I saw in my comments how kind, how loving. I mean, almost to a degree that I can't even fathom. And I go back and read those comments a lot. And I want to just thank everybody who took the time to speak to me. A couple of you were like, why are you so nervous in this video? I was nervous. Because these are conversations that I want to have, but I'm not sure I know how to start them or have them without being offensive, because I know there are all kinds of things. I am just learning the roots of certain words that I say, that I grew up saying, that I had no idea were racist. And so I'm a little bit terrified, because I want to learn. I want you guys to adopt me. It's what I want, but I want to learn. And I'm afraid that I don't even have the right words to start the learning. But, and some of that in my video was sadness and shame that I knew racism was real. I mean, I've worked in the criminal justice system and I have seen it firsthand. But I missed so much until I started raising biracial children. And I'm ashamed that it took it being personal to me before I realized how deep the racism ran. So to all of you who took the time to comment, and those of you who have been so kind, and to the few of you that said, we don't trust you and we're not giving you our secrets, I respect you too. I wouldn't trust me if I were you. That's why the majority of people who are so free to say, come on in, sis, we got you. It has meant more to me than I can say. Thank you. Go love your neighbor.
So after watching this video, these clips I put together, we have seen that in as much as we were all ready for a new ruler, but actually the Black community were actually very brilliant, because they did not keep aside majority of this aspect that they were trying to figure out, because majority of them were trying to break it down to us that in as much as they need a new ruler, they don't need to keep aside their own personal well-being, because they're trying to foresee some how can I put it, some issues that were drastically becoming a problem. But the white folks were actually being they give it to the blind eye to those situations, because at the moment it was favoring their situation, and they think that the situation was going to remain constant. Meanwhile, the Black folks were already foreseeing the little bit of issues that were going to spark up in future. And in as much as they actually spotted those issues, they did not start quiet. They tried to voice it out to the white folks, but they were already carried away. And the Black communities thinks that they have actually spent generations trying to warn the white folks about situations like racism, inequality, discrimination, unfair treatment, but they were actually being ignored. And this has sparked a lot of controversy in the internet right now, because we have seen a lot of white folks dragging the situation online, trying to get the reasons why the Black folks are giving a less consideration, or should I say, giving a blind eye to the political issues that are being brought up, in as much as they are also being affected, but they think that they have done enough already. And we have seen a clip here of one of the Black folks trying to explain what he think about the situation, that they were trying to bring this thing they were trying to break down this situation in a way that not only the Black that were only aware, maybe the white were also going to understand with them. But it seems like they have never been in a toxic relationship. According to what he said in a toxic relationship, the man are always the people that step aside due to they're avoiding a lot of psychological damage and the rest. So in situations like this, he's trying to refer to himself as as a man in the relationship, because they have actually already experienced weakness or foresee these things, but they're actually being turned down when trying to express it to the white communities. So we can't try to blame the black for this, in as much as we blame the blacks. And it's never too late, like you said. But I would really like to hear your thoughts on this video. So comment your thoughts and what you think about this. Like the video, share it to your friends and family.